Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And you can, as always, hear the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network when you go to Spreaker.com. You hear our podcast live. You can also hear it on Stitcher.com, iHeartRadio.com, and on TuneIn.com. And you can hear it also on YouTube, and you have it on our Facebook page of the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. You can hear it there as well. We usually go live every week with some great news and notes content. And also, as we talk about every week, we have live blow-by-blow broadcasts. We also have some commentaries and interviews as well right here on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And this week, big news. We have a couple of big items to talk about this week, along with our recap of a few boxers who were on the road over the past weekend. And we're going to talk about their exploits. And we're also going to give a late tribute. We had a tribute of a trainer that passed away a couple weeks ago. We were unaware of this. No one had told us this, but we do feel he is worth mentioning, so we want to give him a tribute today and again. And also, we have an update on one of our championship boxers who might have closed some possibilities on the one end, but opened up some big ones on the other side. So we'll talk more about that as this podcast goes on. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network is brought to you as always by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything between, Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. If you go to freepainoffer.com, you buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And we're brought to you by DeborahSpears.com. She has great weight loss tips. Do weight loss without dieting, eating real food along the way. She also has great jewelry she sells and some great training tips as well. So go to Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Of course, you can always find me on Twitter at Digital25. And don't forget, you can go to our, I guess, just the Amazon page. Now, I'm not sure the Beltway, the Best Buy page is still working on my blog, but the Amazon page is still working. Make sure you go there to buy your items coming up as we head toward the winter months and, of course, Christmas time. So, we'll start with our update of our boxers that competed in bouts over the past weekend. A number of them did, and most of them did pretty well. Over in the Minneapolis Armory, Minneapolis, Minnesota, on Saturday, August 31st, two Beltway boxers picked up victories there. Landover, Maryland welterweight Tariq IGB Irby. He scored a fifth-round knockout over Lucas Andres D'Adamo of Captain Bermudez, Santa Fe, Argentina. Now, we never got a word on time of the knockout. Irby does remain undefeated, however, he's 8-0, 3 KOs now. And D'Adamo evens his record, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, and 1 KO. So congratulations to Tariq Irby. Also, Baltimore, Maryland middleweight Aaron Anderson. He won a 6-round unanimous decision over Akeem Black of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Again, no scores available. We got very little update on this particular card, unfortunately. Not even my buddy Jesse Kelly, who does MinnesotaBoxing.com. Actually, MinnesotaFightNews.com is what the name of his blog is now. He did not give a lot of information about these two other bouts. It was part of a big card that was on television in Minnesota, but it was the Erislandy Lar and Ramon Alvarez card at the Minneapolis Armory. Anyway, Aaron Anderson won a 6-round unanimous decision over Akeem Black. Anderson now 6-0, 4 KOs. Black falls to 5-4, 2 KOs. So congratulations both of them. Now, also this past weekend, Cornell Hitman Hines, he's the welterweight out of Washington, D.C. He lost a 6-round unanimous decision on Friday, August 30th, to undefeated Eben El Rayo Vargas of Mesa, Arizona. The fight took place at the Pasadena City Hall in Pasadena, California. I had a chance to watch this bout over Golden Boy Fight Night Facebook Live page, and quite frankly, Hines did not do everything he could have in this bout, in my opinion. I think he started off well. He landed punches in the first round, but Vargas was able to pressure Hines throughout the rest of the bout, moved him backwards throughout the contest, and Hines really fought from a defensive posture throughout the rest of the fight. So really was a tough bout. All 3 judges scored about 59-55. Hines loses for the very first time in his career. He's 5-1, 2 KOs. Vargas remains unbeaten. He's 11-0, 5 KOs. And I think that was a little big step for Hines at this stage. His last bout, his last contest, I thought he looked decent. His trainer, Hall of Famer Mark Too Sharp Johnson, didn't think so, and he was kind of upset about that. So it was a big jump for him. Evan Vargas had not fought the best of competition, however, so he maybe thought he could have taken him, but tough break for Cornell Hines. So hopefully he'll be able to bounce back a little bit. All right. We have also this tribute. We have this tribute we have to give out right now. We don't have to. We want to. We want to give out to it because I think I knew this man. I'm not 100% sure. He may have gone back a ways for me, actually, because he trained some guys that I knew of from my boxing spotlight days. So we probably have crossed paths somewhere along the line through this situation. So it's sad to see it. And I'm thanking a fan by the name of Walter who, although he criticized me for not covering it, I told him I did not hear it. No one told me about this, unfortunately, and so we wanted to talk about it here. This past August 18th, Jim Edward Jones, who was a boxer, he was a trainer, school pioneer, and promoter. He had a long illness. He passed away on August 18th at the age of 81. Now, he was born, believe it or not, he was born in Cleveland, Ohio on June 22nd, 1938. Now, I don't know how many boxing historians we have here in the audience, but that date should mean something to you. And apparently, it was kind of a situation where this may have focused Mr. Jones into what he would do in his later life. June 22nd, 1938, and he said he was born at 10:48, which was around the same time that Joe Louis, knocked out Max Schmeling in their rematch at Yankee Stadium. One of the biggest fights maybe in the history of pro boxing took place at that very same time. So that's amazing. That is amazing. So he was born on June 22nd, 1938, which is the same day as the famous bout between Joe Louis and Max Schmeling. That's the one where Louis knocked out Schmeling in the first round. Tremendous career. Tremendous bout there. So he was born, he was 81 years old when he passed away. He was introduced to the sport in Richmond, Virginia at the age of 15. He had won the Virginia Amateur Golden Glove Championship in light middleweight. He finished his career as a heavyweight. Now, in the 1970s, he formed the Northern Virginia Boxing Club, working out of Arlington, Virginia. He encouraged young boxers to participate in amateur and professional bouts. From there, he opened the Olympia Boxing Center in Falls Church, Virginia in 1980. And he trained a number of people. He trained Irish Mike Baker, who I remember from his comeback. He was one of the best light heavyweights at one time in the world. The Witch Doctor, Tony Ojo. The Manassas Mauler, Scott Farmer. Willie the Heat Taylor. And recently, he trained Juan de la Cruz Rodriguez. He also trained a couple of kickboxing champions, Jeff Smith and Rodney Batiste. So he's well known in the boxing game. He's also a trainer of his son Jimmy to level national champion, and he did an outstanding job as a trainer. He was inducted into the DC Boxing Hall of Fame in 1996, and he passed away after a long illness on Sunday, August 18th. His funeral was back on August 31st. So, again, a big loss for us, especially in the Virginia section of the Beltway. And our best wishes to the family and friends and former fighters of Jim Edward Jones, who passed away on August 18th at the age of 81. So, a tough break there. Now, let's give you some updates on what's going to happen in September. We went through some of it last week, but some updates have come up since then. First of all, we are hearing that Baltimore, Maryland middleweight Lorenzo Truck Simpson will be fighting on Friday, September 13th. That'll be at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden, New York. No word yet on his opponent, but Simpson's off to a great start. He's 5-0, 4 KOs, and just an outstanding boxer so far. And you'll see what he has on Friday, September 13th at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And just been a change on that card. One of the boxers on that card outside the area had to back out of that event. So Devin Haney is the main event bout on that card. So that's Friday, September 13th at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. Now, on September 14th, we did talk about this bout last week, but Michael the Professor Fox is headlining the card on September 14th at what is now known as the Wind Creek Bethlehem Event Center. It used to be known as the Sands Bethlehem Event Center, but it's now the Wind Creek Bethlehem Event Center against Yuri Bernardo. Now, we mention this again because we just found out that Michael Professor Fox, who I believe is right now the most technically sound boxer pound for pound in the Beltway area. I do believe that. He has just cracked the rankings for the World Boxing Association. He's ranked number 15th in the world at welterweight by the WBA. So congratulations to Michael Professor Fox. So he'll put that ranking on the line. He's 21, with I believe 6 KOs, and he will put that record on the line against Yuri Bernardo. Now, this also means that both Fox brothers are now ranked among the world's best contenders. Alantez Fox is ranked 3rd in the world by the WBO and 13th now by the IBF. So congratulations to both Fox brothers. We call them the Twin Towers here in the area, and both these guys have fought very, very well, and they are some of the better contenders now in this Beltway area. So once again, Michael Fox ranked 15th by the WBA, Alantez Fox ranked 3rd by the WBO and 13th by the IBF. So remember, he fights September 14th at the Wind Creek Bethlehem Event Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Now, the one we did not know, we just found out about this immediately after we went off the air last week, but we found out that the WBC female super middleweight champion, Baltimore's own, the heavy-hitting diva Franchon Crews-Dezurn, she'll make the first defense of his title on Saturday, September 14th at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. Now, this will be an interesting bout for her because Crews-Dezurn's opponent is the current reigning WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Alejandra La Tigre Jimenez of Mexico City. Now, again, I don't know where you find opponents for heavyweights, to be quite honest with you. That's amazing. In the women's division, that is. I don't see that. Be it as it may, that's what's going to be. Now, Crews-Dezurn won her last outing, which was a non-title bout, by 5th round TKO over Kayla Williams. That was on June 20th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Jimenez, fighting all her bouts in the native Mexico, she comes to the U.S. for the first time. She's 12-0-1, 9 KOs. Now, Jimenez won the heavyweight title with a 10th round unanimous decision over Martha Salazar. That was in March of 2016 in Cancun. 3 of her next 4 bouts were in the heavyweight division, but since April 2018, she's competed at the light heavyweight and the super middleweight champion level, with her last contest being an 8-round unanimous decision over Reyes Hernandez. That was on February 16th in Cancun. So this will be interesting because looking at photos of Jimenez, she's a pretty nice sized woman. So it's going to be interesting to see what Crews-Dezurn, who's a statuesque woman in her own right, how that's going to play out in this situation. So we'll see. So that'll be Saturday, September 14th at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. Franchon Crews-Dezurn, the heavy-hitting diva, she'll battle Alejandra La Tigre Jimenez, Mexico City. This bout is part of the card that will be headlined by WBO super welterweight title holder Jaime Munguia. He defends his title against Patrick Alote of Ghana, and the card will be streamed live on DAZN. So you'll be able to see the Crews-Dezurn Jimenez fight on DAZN coming up on Saturday, September 14th. So best wishes to the heavy-hitting diva herself, Franchon Crews-Dezurn. Now, big news coming out of the super featherweight division and the lightweight division, I guess you can say now. This will be interesting. We heard this week, and it was reflected by the fact that his name disappeared from the championship rank of the World Boxing Association. But Baltimore, Maryland's Gervonta Tank Davis, he is no longer the WBA super featherweight champion. Now, what this seems to mean is that Davis has vacated that title, and he will now compete as a lightweight. And again, the possibilities there are pretty good. No question about that. Because the WBA has ranked Davis, who's 22-0, 21 KOs, as the number one contender to the WBA lightweight title, which is now held by Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, Lomachenko is the unified lightweight champion, having added the WBC championship last Saturday with his unanimous decision win over Luke Campbell in London, England. That was on August 31st. And he added that to his WBA and WBO titles that he already owns. So right now, fight fans, a lot of fight fans, myself included, are drooling over the possibility of a bout between Gervonta Davis and Vasyl Lomachenko. That would be an amazing bout here in boxing world, no matter where it will be held. No question about that. Now, Davis coming off that blistering second-round knockout victory over Ricardo Nunez on July 27th. That was a title defense in front of a sellout crowd at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, what this means, however, is that for the time being, it doesn't look like a lot of the other bouts that we wanted to see Tank Davis in, may happen. That includes the bout between himself and the IBF Super Featherweight champion, Tevin Farmer, or, of course, the bout that a lot of people wanted to see in this area, and that was his contest against WBC Featherweight champion, Gary Russell Jr. Those bouts look like they will not happen. And that's, in a way, kind of unfortunate. Davis and Farmer were kind of mouthing off at each other, off and on. After each guy had won a bout, they would come up and mouth. And actually, when I remember Gary Russell Jr. fought here a while back, and Davis and Farmer got into it at the MGM National Harbor a little bit. Nothing physical, but verbally got into it. So you kind of wanted to see that. I know I wanted to see him against Tevin Farmer. I wanted to see Davis against Tevin Farmer, and I did. Kind of want to see Davis and Gary Russell Jr. just to see, just see what would happen. And I'm not saying it won't happen. For the time being, they're on the shelf. But I'm not totally convinced it won't happen. But a lot has to happen in the meantime. Tevin Farmer may have to go up to lightweight. Gary Russell Jr. will at least have to go up to super featherweight, if not lightweight, and which is possible, I would assume. But it's right now, it doesn't seem likely at this point. So it would be an interesting situation. But again, a Davis-Lomachenko fight would be a pay-per-view, I think, extravaganza. It'd be one of the best fights of the year. On paper, it's a beautiful fight. A lot of people, I didn't get a chance to see Lomachenko's bout against Luke Campbell. Right now, I cannot afford ESPN Plus, so I just did not get a chance to see it. But people have said, a lot of people have said that he did not look all that great against Campbell. He did dominate the bout, but he was not the quick Lomachenko that we saw, especially when he fought at the MGM National Harbor Casino against Jason Sosa, or even when he fought Gary Russell Jr. and gave Russell Jr. his only loss. So he may not be the same Lomachenko. We don't know that. But again, just the possibilities of that bout would be incredible in the Beltway. So that's something we have to wait and see, and we'll have to figure out what's going on in that situation, because that would be a tremendous bout for the belt for the Beltway as far as Beltway fans are concerned. No matter where it would be held, it would be a great bout. No question about that. And I definitely a pay-per-view, and I think a main event pay-per-view in this case. So Gervonta Davis, who is now a lightweight contender, ranked number 1 in the world by the WBA, he looks to a possibility of a match against the world champion Vasyl Lomachenko. We just have to wait and see how that comes out. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. Once again brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. Go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is on. Pain is gone in real time. Excuse me. And by DeborahSpears.com. Great weight loss tips, great jewelry, great training methods as well on Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Crews-Dezurn.com. Don't forget, next week we will preview the card at the Michael & Son Sportsplex in Sterling, Virginia. That features the farewell appearance of Tori Nelson. Let me say this, though, before we go on that particular card. As I said last week, I would not be able to attend that card because I have a event coming up on Saturday, September 14th at RFK Stadium, a high school doubleheader football game. So I cannot make that card, unfortunately. And I've just been told that my partner, Juan Marshall, he has another engagement. He will not be able to make that card. We'll try to bring you the best coverage we possibly can, given that situation. But we on it. Both of us have personal situations, and we are unable to make that card on Saturday, September 14th. So we hate to do it because, again, Tori Nelson has meant a lot to us. Two-time Beltway Boxer of the Year, multi-time world champion, has given some outstanding bouts. But unfortunately, due to some personal situations for both of us, neither Juan or myself will be able to make that card. So we will preview it here on the podcast, on the Boxing News and Notes podcast next week. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Remind you always, keep supporting the best boxing in the world. The boxing on the Beltway. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.